Hello, welcome to the Yucca Valley Film Festival 2021 third edition. It's starting, it's now. So basically what I'm going to tell you right now is this. The festival starts on November 12 and then November 12 and 13 and 14. You're going to have all the movies on Xerb. And starting right now, it's already going online, already streaming. You have all the movies from the past years who are on replay on Xerb. And also, if you want your tickets, all free tickets for this year festival, every ticket is already for grab on Xerb again. So we're going to explain that once more and once more. Every movie we have this year is on the platform Xerb. I'm going to give you the link here. This is the link to go and watch all the movies and the pictures and the things we have and the filmmakers we are talking with today. You have xerb.tv/channel/YVFF. And this is basically our page. And then you have all the virtual events, and each number is a different virtual event. I'm going to tell you more about that. They say we are bringing the magic to Yucca Valley, and we are very happy to do so. So this is starting. This is now. What we're going to do this year is we're going to start some talks like this one. We're going to do a little bit ahead of the festival. The festival actually starts, like I said, on the 12th and then 13th and 14th. But because we wanted to give more time for you to discover the films and the pictures and everything we have in the festival, we have invited the filmmakers and the artists to talk about it a little bit ahead of time. And it is my great pleasure to welcome Denise, JJ, and Justin. How are you doing, guys?
Very good.
Cool.
Good.
I'm very happy to have you. So basically, this today, right now, is about the arts and the experimental movies and the pictures and the art photography. So the three of you have very different works, and everything is going to be shown during the festival. Let's talk about you. Let's start with Denise. You are a local artist in the Morongo Basin. Can you tell us a little bit who you are and your background?
Yes, I'm Denise Vasquez, and I actually just moved to Yucca Valley probably a little over a month ago, but I've been coming up here since 1999. I've been coming to Joshua Tree for a very long time.
So you know the place.
Yes, and the amount of money that I was spending on hotels to come up here and do photography, I figured I might as well move here.
Let's move here. Makes total sense. So you do photography, and we can see in your background you have a lot of pictures. So what kind of, don't say too much. I'm going to show you pictures a little bit later, but tell me, give me an overview of what you do in terms of photography.
Well, I specialize in landscape photography, everything from Milky Way, sunrises, sunset. My passion is in landscape photography.
And definitely the Mojave Desert is the place to do some beautiful pictures about it.
It inspires me beyond words.
Every day. Magic never stops. I mean, don't get me started on that. I totally agree with you. Welcome to the area.
Thank you.
Justin, you are in a park. Where are you?
I am in Boston Common in Massachusetts. I got here yesterday. So I was worried if I was going to be able to make it or not. And so I just finally was able to park it here in this park. And
that gives you a beautiful background too. Welcome to Yucca Valley Film Festival.
The sun is coming down. We have some good lighting coming in.
So you submitted with pictures. So we have a lot of pictures from you. You made kind of a road trip, and you took a lot of pictures along the way. And you also came up with a video showing that road trip. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So I had moved to the Southwest in January of this year. And when I had moved here, and even when I was making this film, I actually had not known that I was going to be living here for an extended period of time. And my mind while making the picture was 6 months. And so I was actually working in AmeriCorps, so I was like a part-time worker. So I had a lot of time to travel. And so every time I had a chance to travel, I was documenting these things. And having just moved across the country, because I'm from the Northeast, I didn't have many people to do it with. And so I figured, well, this is a great time to travel and take advantage of that, but also kind of figure out how you would go about travel on your own and kind of turning the camera inward. Most of my work in the past has never really focused on myself. So part of it was kind of documenting this new experimental travel for myself. The other part of it was kind of a self-study of how I'm going to go about this travel and what things inspire me visually. And so kind of putting the project together is a whole culmination of those things and a visual study of myself.
Don't say too much because you're gonna start eating on my follow-up question. So we're gonna go back on that. JJ, welcome. You are in Australia and it's very, very early right now for you. Thank you so much for taking the time and being with us.
All good.
Can you tell us a little bit who you are? I think you represent also your son who made the movie. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, I'm the producer for the film Painting by Numbers, and my son Radea is the director, animator, editor, writer. He played the music along with a gentleman by the name of Steve, who co-wrote the music with him, but he did everything else. And my co-producer Matt Hearn, he's across the other side of Australia from me. So 4 of us are involved in Painting by Numbers, and like normally I narrate films, I narrate animations, and I act in some of them, and I help write some, and like I produce quite a few. But in this one, there's completely no narration at all.
And this is really visually, it's very rich. And it's difficult to talk about it without actually seeing it. So I'm going to play right now the trailer of it. So people can have it's very short. People are going to have an idea of what you're talking about. Here you go. So this is a movie you produced.
That's right.
I'm going to cut this here. Okay. So you produced this. This is kind of, you have all these very famous paintings that you can see in all the museums and all around the world. And these paintings are coming alive, but not the way you expect them to. You have a lot of modern stuff coming on, and the movie kind of use the traditional image of the paintings to come across with a different message and talk about what's happening in the world right now. Am I correct, or am I making no sense?
No, you're correct. I mean, like it provides an environmental message. So each of those films, kind of shows humanity's impact on the environment, and told along with the help of the 7 deadly sins. So with this one, well, the writer, who's Radea, my son, he's 22. He'd always wanted to make a film, using the 7 deadly sins, and then like he also wanted to make a film with an environmental message. And he originally was an artist before he became a filmmaker. He was an artist. And so he loves these artworks. And so how do we combine all these things together? And, that's how Painting by Numbers came about.
Okay, that's about what I expected in the answer. It's very interesting to see the film because you can just basically watch it as a beautiful things coming before your eyes, and you can also watch it and ask yourself, what does it mean? What can I understand from it, and what's the message behind it? So it's a very clever movie with different levels of understanding. Let's go back to Solo quickly, and then we'll go back to you, Denise. So I'm going to do the exact same. I'm going to show a little bit of your movie so people can understand and imagine what it's about. Here we go. So you submitted with pictures, okay? You submitted for the art photography category, but you also have this video, which is very practical for me to show here. So this adventure, this kind of road trip you went on and you decided to document. What's interesting is most of the time, when people do this kind of documentaries about themselves, it's very ego-centered. But yours, watching your work and what you did, it's about, I felt, it's about the landscapes. It's about the adventure. It's about what you encountered in your travels. What was kind of your objective, your go-to making this movie, putting it together?
I wanted to understand what was driving me visually more. I had known, like, okay, like I'm taking a picture here, and why am I doing this composition? These were senses that I had that felt very internalized, and I kind of wanted to use mediums that I understand to also portray them. And so I kind of was just documenting myself as I would go about travel, regardless of like knowing a camera was present, you know, just not really not really like trying to glorify anything that I was doing. You know, I have hours and hours from this in the 14-minute video.
I think that really works. That's the perfect description of it. You do not glorify the adventure. It's not the Instagram style life adventure.
Exactly.
And even just in the beginning of the movie, we can see the details of the work you have to put on to actually be outside and go through this
exactly
adventure.
it. And that was the other part of it for me was I make these images that people tell me are very beautiful, but for me, I know what goes into them. And so that backstory was something that I wanted to show.
It's not
like,
only
there's a lot,
not only
It's
the beauty
not-
of the images and the framing, it's also the adventure within and what it takes to achieve that, to be there.
Exactly. And and I also wanted to show, I think it's important that people understand that's what travel can be, and it's not something that you should be worried about and scared about. There's some things that you're going to run into that will make it a bit difficult, but that's part of the adventure, is that uncertainty and going about that. It's for me, it's validating that your reaction and others to fully understanding that was kind of what I was trying to. It's not really about me,
No, it's not. You are the character we can rely on to try and feel and understand what you felt on the moment. It's not about you. It's about what's going on in the adventure. Denise, so you started to explain a little bit that you do landscape photography. So the two pictures you sent us, you submitted with two pictures. One is Hidden in Paradise, and the other one is the rainbow over the desert. Why did you decide to submit these two pictures to the Yucca Valley Film Festival?
Well, a long time ago, somebody said to me, there's nothing to see in the desert. And I wanted to show that there is so much to see in the desert. It's such a beautiful place. And the two photos that I actually submitted, I took from my backyard. So
Which one do you want me to show?
I'll let you decide. They both have different stories to them. The Hidden Paradise, this first one, I took when I first moved in, and I was exploring the backyard, and the sun was starting to set, and there was just such beautiful light, and it was so peaceful and so tranquil and so colorful to me that it just captured that moment, and it was filled with emotion for me. And I hope it translates into the photograph to show people that there's so much beauty here and so much life here. And I've been obsessing with the Joshua trees for years because a lot of people don't realize they're endangered.
They are.
And so I am trying to show through my photography, why we have to protect these trees. They're magical. They're something
They
special.
represent a lot of the Mojave Desert. They are the big. People want to take care about them, and we actually have a documentary this year at the Yucca Valley Film Festival that's going to screen. I think it's on the Saturday. That's about all area in Nevada where thousands of Joshua trees may be destroyed because of a building project.
Right.
So yes, we're going to talk about the Joshua trees a little bit during the Yucca Valley Film Festival this year. So this is your backyard.
They're both taken in my backyard from different perspectives.
Pretty lucky girl. This is really and that picture to me can represent what we can live in Yucca Valley and the area. You have the Joshua trees, of course, but you also have the yucca trees. You have different types of vegetation, and you have the mountains in the background all the time, and the sun that sets below and above them, and the moon does also.
Yes.
And it's any time of the day you can literally take a picture, and it's going to be beautiful. And if you take the same picture, the same angle, the next day, it's going to be different.
It's completely different.
So this is kind of a crazy place to be, crazy in a beautiful sense of the way, because you are in a place that you can discover all the time and see again with different eyes, day after day after day. Tell me a little bit about the other one, the other picture.
So the other picture I took probably, I'd say, in the last 2 weeks. Do you remember when we had that crazy hailstorm that came through? So we had this crazy hailstorm that came through, and I was making a breakfast smoothie, looking out my kitchen window, and I saw the biggest rainbow I have ever seen in my entire life. So I always have my cameras ready to just grab and go. And so I literally grabbed my camera, ran outside in my pajamas in the hail. I was freezing. I didn't care because I wanted to capture the rainbow. And as I was looking around, I saw this composition, and I had my 70 to 300 millimeter lens, and I zoomed in on this composition. It just caught my heart, and it was the most vibrant part of the rainbow. So I wanted to show the vibrancy. And I don't use Photoshop. I like to capture colorful moments as they occur, as they happen, because so like in life right now, everybody's trying so hard to use filters to change things. And to me, I want to show through my photography how beautiful life is as it is, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. A little bit like Justin in a way, because when you look at your picture, and this one in particular, when you look at the shade of greens, I can tell that this picture has no filter or very little touch up at all, because this is the actual real green of the vegetation right now.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you touch it up a little bit for the rainbow, or not?
I just made it was a little bit darker, so I just brightened it up a little bit, but I didn't touch the colors or anything, because for me, like I said, I started a company, and my business and everything that I represent is capturing and photographing the colorful moments as they're happening. And a lot of studying, like Justin's video, I appreciate, because a lot of studying and work goes into studying, you know, what time the sun rises to capture certain colors, and what time the sun sets to capture certain colors, and when there's going to be a full moon or no moon, or, you know, what season is Milky Way season, and where you can capture the core of the Milky Way. And so I study like every aspect of everything.
There are apps. There are apps for that.
Yes. Now I use photo pills to know about, you know, the Milky Way and sunrises and sunsets, and
be at the right spot at the right time to get the good, to try and know a little bit in advance the lighting and the conditions, so you can take the better image that you can. What I like about the three of you guys is that the work you present at the Yucca Valley Film Festival this year in different ways, because you're different artists, but they are very honest. They have something to show, and they have something to say, and I like that. I would like to ask you, JJ, yours is a little bit special because you're using pre-existing pieces of art to turn them into something different. How did you guys, I mean, you and all the people involved in the making of this film, how did you choose which paintings and which pieces you were going to use or not? Because you have Dali, you have Bonaparte, you have many different iconic visuals. Why these ones, and maybe which other one that you did not make the cut for you? You got to unmute yourself, JJ.
With the artworks, the thing is that although they are existing, they, like we couldn't, or like, well, the director couldn't just plug an image, an existing image somewhere, and use it, and so for us to be able to use it, so he had to draw them himself again. So he hand drew all those artworks himself on a tablet, and that's how he could kind of then start manipulating it and making it move.
Like in music, you are not allowed to
That's right.
use existing music,
Yeah.
but if you re-record your own version of the song, some of
Yeah.
the rights, I mean, legally it's easier to do things that way.
So
Okay, so basically doing so, you could pick anything you wanted and make it appear in the movie.
yeah, that's right. And like with him, like the favorite artwork that will be definitely used is the Scream,
Yeah.
And like it's kind of a little like Easter egg, if you like. And almost all his films, whether it's a live action or an animation, will have the Scream somewhere in it, So like, and this is actually the first time it's playing such a prominent role in the film. Like in all the other films, it just kind of pops up as a little thing on the side somewhere, see in the background, or like almost as a prop, in a way. But with this film, of course, it plays a key role in this film. And like with the selection of images, like we discussed over a number of months, which image represents greed, or like, looking at the seven deadly sins and how they pair with the
Yeah.
image.
Which one connect to
Yeah,
what you
which
wanted
one
to say?
connect, and then which one can we kind of then show, the environment, show the environmental impact. So like this one right now that you see, for instance, when the girl with the pearl earring, when she started out, she was standing in front of like a lot of greenery, and there was green in the background and stuff like that. And as you see progressively in that film, she transforms with various pieces of clothing, and the background, the environment deteriorates, and then you see in the end a dead background, and the greenery is on her. So
Yeah.
um,
And the movie is very subtle. The first couple times I watched it, I did not realize it was about environmental issues. It's in the background. It's subtle. I was kind of captured by. I was entertained by the film, and then I read the description that we have when we receive the movies. That there's even something even more than that in the film. So I like this kind of movies that you can be entertained by, and then if you're interested in, you also have a message behind it. And I think that's the highest form of respect when you make a movie, to give the audience this option. So it's a really good job you did on this one. Back to you, Justin. Where did you go? What states, what places
Sure.
did you go through during the solo travel?
Well, I did touch on Joshua Tree, which is good. A lot of locations. So I'm kind of based out of Tucson currently. So a lot of locations were in southern Arizona.
Okay.
But like a lot of the places, honestly, were random camp spots. I mean, the one with all the drone, that's in Sonoita, La Ciénegas Conservation Area. That's maybe a 45-minute drive outside of Tucson. And I went there as for a night after like a 2-week trip. The town I'm in there is Bisbee. Yeah, that's Sonoita.
Yep.
And I have images. This is following. There is also an underlying environmental touch here, because this is all drought-stricken regions currently that, if I were to make this film again, would all look completely different following this year's historic monsoons, which, while are very great, are still considered extreme weather as climate change continues on. But yeah,
That's
so
you in the tent.
yeah. And then I believe, I go to Bisbee too in here. So a lot of it was venturing around the southern parts of Arizona and stuff. This is in New Mexico. This is the
This
RV
one?
there is at, this is in New Mexico, and a parking lot at White Sands National Park. So this is one of the first images I made when I kind of arrived to the Southwest. So That one
And
will always sit with me as a good omen. This is actually just outside of Tucson. This is a trail on the way to, it's called Seven Falls. There's a waterfall out near Sabino Canyon.
yeah, Sabino Canyon.
Yeah. So
Okay. That's not your car. That's just a picture you took.
that's a picture. This is outside a racket club in Tucson, and those are the Catalina Mountains just behind on a rare gloomy day in Tucson. And then this is also in Tucson.
Okay. That looks
This is
like a different
on-
different time.
Yeah, exactly. This is up on Mount Lemon. So
Tell me a little bit more about the Joshua Tree. Where did you go in Joshua Tree? Did you go inside the park or did you go in the area?
I spent a night camping on. I use this place called Hip Camp. It's like booking camping. It's like Airbnb but campsite. So I used that, and I stayed just outside the park. But I had like an annual park pass. I just didn't have time to figure out the logistics of camping in the park. And I also stayed at this other place, like deep outside Pioneer Town, like out in the Boulders area.
Yeah.
But then when I did go into the park is when I got to really venture and just cook lunch and hang out and just look around and really, really appreciate the trees. I think that's important that we touched on that too, because as plentiful as they seem a lot of times in imagery, they are an endangered species. And so
They are,
I know
and
there's an image in there too, a huge one that I was shot on one of the sides of the road in the park there that I just looked at for a while because I just realized how old it had to have been, and this was kind of coming full circle for me. So that was kind of half of the trip too, was realizing how precious these places are and how delicate they are.
Yeah, and we live in a place here in Yucca Valley, at least. We live in a place where we are surrounded by nature. We get to enjoy it every day, but we still have to care about it if you want it to be still there in a couple of decades, because this goes very, very fast with the current conditions. Do you have anything, guys, you want to ask to each other? We've seen a little bit of everybody work. Anything you want to discuss between artists? And I'm going to step back a little bit. Do you have questions?
I wanted to ask Justin, do you shoot on film?
Yes.
I could totally tell because I learned how to do photography. I'm 52 years old. I'm not afraid to say how old I am. And I learned how to shoot on film. So I have the most appreciation for film. And you can tell like the organic feel, the colors, the rawness, like you could, the same with music. There's definitely a difference between, recording music and analog and digital. And it's the same to me with film, that the photography, there's definitely a earthy, I don't know. There's probably
a word texture
for it.
It's the way it should be done. It's the way the photograph was conceptualized, was on film. And I have learned reverse. I started digital and then I came across a film camera and I was like, just about to go into college and kind of didn't really turn back. I mean, I still love the iPhone camera and whatnot, and some video in this film is actually shot on an iPhone camera because it's easy to travel with. But
it's funny, we were talking about Instagram a little bit earlier, because a lot of the filters that people use on social medias today kind of try to recreate the texture and the vibe and the atmosphere on the image of the analog and the before, not digital, but still we're using everything digital here, and then we try to step it back to something that has a soul in a way. That's kind of funny.
And and in response to Denise, I appreciate you about leaving things naturally how they are. With film, a lot of times it's hard to do that. There may be blemishes and things that you want to fix, but overall I usually leave the colors. Sometimes if there's even a bit of the film border in there from scanning, I'll leave it. And even sometimes the lens, like some glare or light leak or something, it's almost as if it was just meant to be. So I appreciate that aspect too. A lot of times I worry with in it, this is mostly with like digital stuff, is just the over touching, and you're creating these images that kind of, then you go there. I see images of the Southwest and then I go there and I'm like, oh, this doesn't, I feel like I've been like misled, and I don't like to mislead with, there's enough things misleading us in media. I don't want to do my best not to be part of the problem.
You guys should come to Western Australia, where I am in Perth. I mean, Australia is a huge desert, as you know, it's only along the periphery that people can live actually, and the biggest desert probably you'll find anywhere. And a lot of the trees and things like that are very similar, or they look similar. And I think you'd love it here, and you'd love
It's
photographing
extremely. Some
the
places
sky.
are extremely remote. Some places I've been told. We had last year a drone film made in Australia, and the guy told us last year at the Yucca Valley Film Festival that some places in Australia still have not ever been touched by human presence.
That's kind of
It's
cool.
so wild. It's so remote. Very hard to access, and it's a big continent of desert landscape. I
And
believe.
where I am in Perth is the most remote capital city in the world. Because so like if you look it up, so like Perth, in Western Australia is the most remote capital city, furthest away from any other capital city anywhere.
It must be so quiet. I would love that.
Yeah, it is.
So, anything else you want to ask, guys?
When is this airing? When can we share this?
True.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna tell. This is gonna air today or tomorrow. So this is for the
Awesome.
artist. When you guys are watching this right now, this is gonna be November 5 or later. But for the artist taping here today on the 4th, this is gonna be the next day for them. Well, it's complicated. So basically, what I wanted to share with you all is this. I'm gonna do what we did last year. Let me be ready here. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Share. So we have more than 70 movies and artists this year at the Yucca Valley Film Festival. This is the biggest edition yet we had. We are very happy to bring all the artists and the creation to Yucca Valley. So when you arrive on Xerb, this is the name of the platform, Xerb.tv, and you have our page, Yucca Valley Film Festival, pretty easy to find. And if you watch this, if you scroll down, let me find it. Happening now means this is happening now. So if I click here, if I have my login, my email and my passcode, it's free, but I can watch the welcoming thing we had a couple of days ago. I can watch all the films from last year. So if you missed out on all the animation films, if you missed out on all the things we had in 2020, this is how you can go and watch them. And then you have all the trailers for the films that are not for the kids. And you have the trailers for all the films that are for the kids. Because basically we have every Saturday at the Yucca Valley Film Festival, every year we have this Saturday afternoon, we have the kids section, we have animated films for all the family and the kids. So we put all the trailers in one block. And for all the other films, including yours, guys, when I played Solo or JJ's trailer, I went on this blog, Trailer for Films. And if you keep scrolling down, you have upcoming. So the opening feature film is going to be the Yucca Fest. Then we have the documentary. Then we have the kids films. So then we have the drone films and trailers in competition. The comedies, the short films. JJ, you all hear actually, visual arts, experimental films, and art photography 2021. And then we have the dance films, the music videos, student short films. And on the last day of the festival, we're going to have the announcement of the winners of the year. And right at the same moment, we're going to start replaying all the winners. So it's once you are on Xerb, it's very easy to find, very easy. Everything is on one same place. So I really encourage you to go there, grab your tickets. All tickets is free. So this is really courtesy of the town of Yucca Valley. We are working very hard with them, and they want all the films and the filmmakers. They want to give you a platform so the audience in Yucca Valley can connect with what you do. And let me tell you, if you've never been to Yucca Valley, if you've never participated in the Yucca Valley Film Festival, people here love movies and they love art. And I see Denise going this. Definitely, yeah, this is a place to be if you want to be, if you are an artist, if you want to be an artist, if you want to experiment, if you want to share your work. We are very happy to have you. Guys, thank you so much for taking some time to be with us at the Yucca Valley Film Festival. Really, the movies are good, the pictures are good. What you guys created is worth the attention, and we are very happy to have it at the Yucca Valley Film Festival. Thank you so much. Have a very good rest of your
Thank
day.
you so much.
Thank
Great
you
to
for
meet y'all.
having me. Bye, guys.
See you. Bye-bye.